I'm standing here with Walter Kilroy, one of the founding fathers of the Massachusetts Herpetological Society, which has since changed into the New England Herpetological Society. Mr. Kilroy, you're one of the founding fathers of MHS and EHS. Where did the idea for Herp Society first take shape?
It actually took shape with Fred Dodd and Peter Still, who at the time was the Assistant Director of Education at the Museum of Science, and Paul Myers and myself. And we just decided there was a need for such an organization.
We were at someone's house?
No, we did it at the Museum of Science.
It was right at the Museum of Science when it was decided?
Yeah, that's right.
And what was your profession?
I was, at that time, that's a long time ago. I think I was Vice President of the MSPCA.
Vice President?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, that's good enough. All right, how do you feel about the current legislation sponsored by the Humane Society of the United States and People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals that seeks to ban ownership of certain python species based on what's going on in Florida?
You know, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not familiar with the legislation.
Not familiar?
So I'm a little bit uneasy about commenting on it.
They're trying to get Senate legislation through that would end the ownership of the snakes.
Totally
yeah.
end the ownership?
Yeah, based on what's happening in Florida.
Somebody who has always kept, for many years, kept snakes. Mm-hmm. And I also have always felt that animals are the best ambassadors of their own species. Mm-hmm. I'm a little bit, I have a little problem with a total ban.
Yeah, that's what we
I think licensing, you know, and regulation is certainly appropriate and even in many cases necessary, and have in fact in the past supported such legislation and rules and regulations here in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. But a total ban,
that's what they're looking at, yeah. How do you feel about the current state of herpeticulture, which is what we call, what we do now?
To be honest with you, I'm not even familiar with the term. You'd have to
herpeticulture, just breeding, selling, dealing in reptiles and amphibians of a captive bred nature instead of a wild caught nature based.
Well, I would always prefer to see the
focus is more on captive bred.
Captive bred, absolutely.
How do you feel about what you see in the next room?
I'm fascinated by what I've seen in the next room, and I'm incredibly impressed by the number of people here, the degree of interest. I think that's fantastic.
Great. Do you currently keep any reptiles or amphibians?
I don't, but I have a daughter who does.
Mr. Kilroy, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, my pleasure, really.
It's been fascinating.